I actually went to the Bridgeport Regional Aquaculture Science Technology and Education Center for high school. So ever since then, I knew I had a love for marine science and the ocean, just kind of in general. So once senior year rolled around and we had colleges coming to my school, and I definitely knew I wanted to stay in the realm of marine sciences, but once a representative from UConn Avery Point came in, I just kind of knew that that was where I wanted to go.
Who was that? Oh, it was Lori. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lori's good.
And she just kind of like convinced me on this school. It's so close, on the water, and the marine science program is just amazing here. I love it. I definitely did take more of, like the classes more in order as they should, but it doesn't really matter in my opinion. I feel like, all the classes build off of each other, and,
What would you say to people who've struggled at different? You came in with a scholarship too, didn't you get the Kitchings or?
Yeah, the Kitchings scholarship my freshman year, and I think that it's definitely important to take advantage of everything on this campus, since you have such a campus where you can have a relationship with your advisor, your professors, department heads, and everything. I think it's important to take advantage of that. There were a lot of classes like reaction and transport, which is a very difficult class. I went to go meet with my professor all the time, and she sits down with you and works out problems with you. And that's one of the things I like about being here. Everything is so personal. You know your professors so well, and you can talk to them about anything. And as far as my experiences, I currently intern with Circa downstairs, which is more in line with my goals. I'm very policy and climate change oriented. So I really enjoy working there because I get the experience of working in an office. I get the experience of meeting with different municipal and government representatives and sitting in on conferences and summits and meetings, which is something that I want to do. I think it's amazing that here there's just so many different opportunities, whether you want to go out and anything you want to do, there's always opportunities coming in that Claudia will send you, or your professors, or anything. And it's probably one of my favorite things about here, because there's no one way to do anything. You could do anything any way you want. And I
If you
think
look
that's
at our
awesome.
senior class, it's really split up in terms of directions people are going, and
It
interest
is.
is kind of fun to see that. You also have been working for Sea Grant for years.
Yeah,
So the Sea Grant office as well.
second semester of my freshman year, I started working as an administrative assistant at Sea Grant, right over there. So that's kind of got me my first research opportunity, helped out with Gracilaria sampling, which is a type of red seaweed that they're experimenting with growing as a food source. And it's gotten me a lot of connections actually going down to Moat. I was having trouble finding housing because I was accepted so late. Sylvain, who's the director, knows someone down there in the dolphin program and was able to get me housing with
I didn't
him.
know that that's how that
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, that's how I
so
got
it's all about networks and connections. We've talked about that before, but it comes up again and again. And the reason I bring it up because, since for you, you found Circa. Tell them what Circa is, because they won't know what that stands for, what that is.
The Connecticut Institute for Resilience and Climate
I
Adaptation.
never remember that. I
It's
just call it
seared
Circa.
into my brain at this point.
Yeah, that's why I figured anyway, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Circa does a lot of work with communities all over Connecticut. Like, for instance, right now we've begun the first phase of the Resilient Connecticut project to better equip coastal communities to cope with the effects of climate change, whether that's sea level rise, creating living shorelines, or just anything to help manage floodwater and drainage, just anything. And I find it very, very interesting. I
That's
enjoy
so
it.
good that you took advantage of that. Now, how did that come about? How did you find that?
So through my friend Abby, who actually did Sea Semester last spring, she was an intern with Circa, and they needed someone to fill her place at the time. And she had referred me to them, and I looked into it, and I realized that that was something I was very interested in, because beforehand I was very, I wouldn't say lost, but very overwhelmed. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do and what field I wanted to go into. And then once I found Circa, I realized that that was definitely what I want to do. I'm very interested in policy and helping communities and doing things like that. So I started interning with them in January, and I've been with them ever since, and I really enjoy it. It's great.
So what do you think you're going to do after you graduate? Do you have any ideas yet?
I've been looking at the Knaus Fellowship in Washington,
Good.
D.C.
Oh, you're perfect.
Talk to Nancy Balcom in
On
Secret.
Secret?
They,
Okay.
that's
Is
that's
that
them.
how it works?
That's them. They
I
do
was
the
looking at it, I
Knaus
was like, I have to go to Secret and talk to them.
Fellowship. Talk to Sima and Nancy.
Okay, thank you.
Tell them what the Knaus Fellowship is. So it's for graduates, it's after graduation.
Mhm. It's this fellowship in Washington, D.C., where you're kind of, I guess you could say, paired up with an executive in environmental law, and you're there for about a year to gain experience in the field. And yeah, I haven't gone to Secret yet to get more information, but I was reading up on the statistics, and most people that take the fellowship land a spot in either federal or local government, or which is something that I never thought I'd actually want to do, but it is, because I want to make a change in the environment through policy, and the Knaus Fellowship is very successful in that aspect. So it's something I'm very interested in.
Yeah, so this is the exchange that happens. You find out that someone else has talked to somebody else who knows someone, and that'd be something that a maritime studies student who's also focused on more climate and policy and ocean resources could do as well. So this is where the two fields kind of intersect and overlap. The same thing you're doing with Circa. So, yeah.
And then summers, you were at Circa this past summer, is that right?
Yep. And this coming summer I'll be there as well.
So sometimes semester jobs can turn
Yeah.
into summer jobs.
Yeah, I actually originally was only supposed to stay for last semester until Abby came back, but then when she came back, they offered both of us positions, and now we're both staying with Circa until we graduate.
She's doing Circa too. In
Yeah.
addition to everything she's doing.
I know, I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
You got a lot of go-getters, Claudia.
I know, I do. I know. So this is because, and this wouldn't happen on the main campus.
No.
Because you'd have more people basically competing for those same.
Every time I go to stores, I get lost. Don't like
So,
that.
And Claudia's your advisor, is that?
Julie Granger's my advisor.
yeah, they so neither of them have me as their primary advisor. Everybody else here does. I kind of just got tired of taking everybody else's advicees, so I'll just keep them myself. But
Although you do
but
remember about
ultimately
getting the
fine.
second opinion when you can.
They
and going
right,
to see
well, so
Nancy or
that's
going
what
to
they
see.
do. Yes.
Probably they still check
Yeah.
in with you, I would guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I check in with Claudia and I
Uh-huh.
check in with Catherine Matassa, who's my honors supervisor.
Yeah, and I actually met her honors advisor too. That's the other reason Emily has to check in with me.
Oh, yeah.
And Sarah really has. I mean, Sarah's been able to just navigate all this pretty much on her own and through the help of
Somehow.
other people, of students and friends around her. Yeah.
You find a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel overwhelmed, and then you
Yeah.
find out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you will have, and I think, is that overwhelmed because of all the possibilities, or the overwhelmed because it just seems like it's so much that you have to do each semester, or what's the
For
overwhelmed part?
me, it was I got to a point where I really wasn't sure where I was going because I hadn't really gotten research opportunities yet. So I didn't know if research was what I really wanted to do, if I wanted to go a different route. I briefly thought about policy. I'm still kind of thinking about policy, but on a different level, more of a federal level. But for me, it was just a lot of different possibilities and feeling really lost with what I wanted to do and where I could go and getting burned out over classes. I still kind of feel that way sometimes, but I'm going to be taking a gap year, so I won't feel that burnout. And then I've had the research opportunity, and I know that I really enjoy it. I love getting results, and I love doing research. So you find out, you get this period where you get overwhelmed for whatever reason, and then you find out what you want at the end of it.
I agree, and I think it definitely helps with the community here at Avery Point. You can go and talk to people and bounce ideas off of each other, and sometimes you find that other people have different perspectives of things that you never thought of, or maybe they heard about something that you never heard of before. And it's just so helpful. Everyone just opened doors for each other, and everyone's just very, very supportive in every aspect of students, faculty, and everything.
I really don't think there's any community anywhere else outside of Avery Point that operates this way in
Yeah.
terms of the support you have among other students, so take advantage of that.
It may not last forever in the workplace.
Right, yeah, but
You have to develop sharp elbows.
Yeah, well, you can.
And one of the things you said to me too, when you found the program has helped you a lot, I think we talked about presentations and talking to.
Oh yeah, talking to people has gotten, it's not necessarily gotten easier in the process, but it's less nerve-wracking. I know what I'm doing more. I've already done 2 poster presentations. I've gone through the process. It's easier to come up in front of people to talk. The exposure has really helped a lot of insecurities with this.
What class was that in? The 2 posters.
Idea grant for
I
Frontiers
see.
and the CERC grant for Frontiers.
So outside of class.
Both
Yeah,
of them. outside
Abby
class.
and Annalie went freshman year, right? It's when you applied for the idea grant, which is,
Yeah, I think
Right,
we went
so-
this spring after.
so when you see those come out, go after something that you think, oh, the campus is missing something, you know, whatever it is, or if interested in outreach, we had students from Avery Point, they ended up at Stewart's eventually, but they were still students here, and they got together, 4 of them, to paint a room for a child with cancer, and they did a whole room redecorating, you know, I forgot what the details were, but that was some years ago. So those idea grants really are, it can be artistic, it can be outreach, it can be anything, you know, it doesn't.
Yeah, look at Office of Undergraduate Research. There's a lot of different grant opportunities and funding opportunities for whatever you have. The idea grant is really open with the types of research or projects that they'll fund. Like Claudia said, it's anywhere from art to hardcore science. SURF is pretty much focused on science. And I've seen travel awards, art awards, other types of funding. So if you ever have something in mind that's a larger scale project that you would need some funding for, check their website, see what they have, see the processes for it. There's ways to do it with the resources that UConn provides.
So what would you tell your first semester self, looking back now? We can prepare you guys for that question.
I don't know. I might need a minute for that one. Yeah.
I'll try to. I'll try
Probably.
to.
It probably seems like eons ago. And
It
it went by
does.
really fast, but
It
at the same
seems
time it
like
feels like it was forever
forever
ago.
ago and like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It's kind of terrifying. But I would probably tell my freshman year self, don't wear those